Hello. Welcome back to Beyond FIRL. We talk things that are beyond finance. Once again, we have the legend MJ in the show. Welcome, MJ.
Legend. Okay.
Yeah, legend, man.
Hello.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about something that we should had in our first episode,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, it's still early. It is about MJ's backstory.
Okay.
So MJ, we know that you ask this a lot in the Fire podcast, but what's your money beliefs
Yeah.
growing up?
My money beliefs was that I was very neutral about it, right? I know what it could bring, but at the same time, I didn't really think hard about it. But there were times where I think that money is like a hindrance. Today, I still think of it sometimes as well, where when you do things just for money,
Right.
it can get quite boring, and also it's less stimulating, less meaningful, let's call it.
Was that the same mindset you had when you were 15 or when you're younger?
I think when I was younger, probably in relation to money, is that I couldn't see myself, probably lack of confidence, but I couldn't see myself actually like because I lacked so much confidence. I thought, how will I ever earn money, right?
Right.
Like such a difficult thing, just to get 5 ringgit or 10 ringgit is really so difficult to work for it. I can't imagine earning like thousands. So that was part of my psyche back in the day, lah.
Okay. Were you like do you love to splurge a lot when you were younger?
Yeah, I like to splurge other people's money, not my own.
Same,
But
same.
my own, when I was younger, I like to buy games. When I was like really young, maybe toys,
Yeah.
things like that. But yeah, those are the big ones I would say that I will splurge on.
Oh, because for me, right, last time when I was younger, I used to like buy a lot of snacks, Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon cards, or even go to
Oh, I
CC.
used to get booster pack,
Yeah,
Pokemon card
booster
booster
pack.
packs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I used to do that a lot. Yeah.
Nice. That's during your preschool, high school, is it?
This is probably standard six, 13 years old. I think that's when like cards was there, and I would spend on those. Of course, we are from the era of cyber cafes, right? So
Yeah.
but that's not really a splurge because it's very affordable actually, right? It's like
Yeah,
two,
it
three
is. It
ringgit
is.
for an hour, something like that.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Those
Those
are the
were
days,
really
yeah.
the days. Okay. All right. So I know some of the audience may not know this, but MJ didn't finish. You didn't finish your
Yes,
degree
that's
during
right.
uni, right?
Correct.
So following up with that, why did you drop out from university?
Several reasons. I think the first is that on a on an emotional level, I just didn't quite understand why I was there. Like I don't know, I wasn't stimulated. I didn't find what I was studying interesting.
Oh, just for context, what were you studying back then?
Yeah, business. I think it's business admin with a specialization in international business. That was what I was studying. Then I was like failing accounting. I didn't know what I was doing, and yeah. So also on a personality base, I never do well in classrooms. Right.
Right.
Why is that the case? Is a very interesting discussion, but I think one reason could be that I do not work well in like big classrooms, let's say. I work
Okay.
better if I a lot more attention, like maybe in a tuition setting or like a class where it's only 10, 15 people. Some people don't need that. I think I need that. So I'm really set up for failure in that sense because, most of the time, if you study in the Chinese schools that I studied, it's always 40, 50 people per class,
Correct.
right? You're from there. And
Yeah.
then even when you go to high school, it's pretty much the same 30, 40, maybe in some cases even 50, high 40s kind of thing. So I've never set up to do well in a schooling environment lah.
Environment.
So that's the first. Second one is uh, because of all this, and I always want to encourage people or anyone considering uni to think of it as if you had to borrow money to go to
Yeah,
university.
correct. Yeah.
When you study the places like the US and Canada, right, you hear stories of people who have student loan debt and they go and study whatever they studied and they have to work as like things like part-time firemen to make ends meet and to settle the installments. So that got me thinking, right? Hey, like there's actually a financial cost to the students in the US or Canada. There's a cost to their decisions, right? And for most of us, if we buy the camera, if we decide to eat that food, date this girl or whatever, there's always going to be some sort of consequence as a result, good or bad. But for most Asian or even Malaysian kids, either the parents fund them or PTPTN.
Yeah.
So that means they don't bear any risk. They're not actually putting out money, on the line. Now, you might say PTPTN is, but if anyone who has PTPTN loan knows that the interest rates for these loans are heavily subsidized.
Yeah.
It's almost a free loan.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Yeah.
So that's why a lot of discussions about whether you should get a degree, what degree you should take on, it for me is 95% useless because the person who is discussing all this is not the one paying. The minute you have to pay for your degree, then the discussion will be very different. Then it's an ROI discussion.
Correct.
So I actually did the math, right? If I went overseas university and I got a degree and I, let's say, became an engineer, I'll take roughly, and I assume that I borrowed the money at a market interest rate, which in the US and the UK, I think something like 6 or 7%, right? So it's almost like a car loan. Like that. I would take maybe 15 years,
All right.
maybe 20.
Let's say 15.
And if I take a business degree, it'll be 25. But that's overseas, right?
Yeah.
So then I studied local. It was still a very similar situation. It's not as bad. But of course, then the degree I'll be getting wouldn't be as prestigious.
Right.
So then job opportunities might be less.
Yeah.
So when you take everything in consideration, more or less, that's the situation I will be in.
But I think there will be like a common question, which is like, were your parents okay with it?
No, obviously, initially the reaction was, what are you going to do? What's your backup plan? And things like that. But if you think of it this way, if you're going to spend 100K, because my parents would be financing, if I had gone through, it would be my parents financing. What would it cost for me to get a degree in Malaysia? Maybe
60, 80K.
Yeah, 60, 80. Then if I go to the higher ones, maybe
over 100.
80, 90, 100, right?
Yeah.
So let's do the math. Let's say if it's 100 and I need, 3,000 a month, let's say, to survive, right? That is 33 months, right, of survival.
Yeah.
In that 33 months, I can go out and, work for someone for free to gain experience, to be in to build a network, for example. Or I can take some money to start a business, or I can, do whatever to build the necessary skills to be marketable for people to want to pay for my services. That's a far less risky thing for me, because if you pay for a degree, you've already sunk the cost. There's no guarantee you're going to get a job.
Right.
But in this case, if I say, hey, I'm going to work for you for free, all I want is your experience and all that, and just let me do stuff and build connections, all that, I think most people will be accepting. I mean, it's free, right? And I price, if you think of the labor markets just as you would a fish market or any market, right? If you're going to say, I'm going to do the same thing a fresh grad is going to do and more, and you don't pay me anything, it makes it easy for the employer, right?
So for those that actually plan to drop out of uni, what are your advice for them?
My advice is to actually, I think self-knowledge is very important. I can say and do these things because I know exactly what I need and what I want and things like that. Self-knowledge is the most important thing. Don't just drop out of university, right? I think you need to see what field you intend to operate in. If you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, obviously don't drop out, right? Because you actually need the degree. But if you're not sure, or if you want to do business, or if you're I don't know, even today, if you want to do coding, you don't need a university degree. However, I would say that the only time you should go to university, regardless of your degree, is if you can enter either Ivy Leagues or Oxbridge. If you can enter Ivy Leagues in the US, or the Oxbridge, Oxford, Cambridge, or maybe a very prestigious uni in the UK like LSE or whatever, then go for it. The reason you go for it is so that you just get the signaling chop money. Is to say I went to Stanford, and in fact, you just have to get in the university. After that, you drop out, no problem, because you can tell people I got into Stanford.
Oh,
Getting into Stanford is more valuable than dropping out or graduating from Stanford. Because once you're in, then people immediately, for whatever reason, legit or not, think that you are. So those are the only conditions. I think one is you actually need the degree for your profession, or two, the job. But the universities I was going to, they were not bad universities, but let's be honest, if I say I was from the university, people will be like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah, that's true. So actually, what do you do like after you drop out?
So the reason, if there was a third reason that I dropped out, was because I was very passionate about investing. I was learning a lot about it. I was skipping class. People skip class to have fun and play snooker. I was skipping class to learn about investing. I was listening to audiobooks, reading books. Yeah, that's what I was doing. So I thought this was what I was passionate about already. So, I just told my parents, why not you give me the capital that you meant for my university and give it to me, and then I'll compound it. I think it's a lot better. That ended up happening, but a lot later. But what I did after that was I just say, okay, now where can I go where I can start? Because I thought my theoretical knowledge of investing was pretty good already. So now I needed practical knowledge and, working with actual people in the field, learning about investing and having experience in the Malaysian market, because it's a unique market. So that's when I decided to apply for jobs, and I used the same tactic of I can work for free. Just get me in, right? I'll work for free.
Is that how you actually land a job at Equities Tracker?
Previously,
Yeah.
I tried that, but I think the management at the time was kind enough to still pay me.
Oh,
in
nice,
fact, as I worked there over time, within the first 6 months, because they were like, if you include things like OT and some of the other things that they were offering, actually I ended up probably receiving a fresh grad salary.
That's great. That's great. Do you have fun working there though?
Yeah, it was fun. I learned a lot. That's why I met John, right? So it was it was a fun experience. I learned a lot of things to do and what not to do as well. So I always call it a free NBA when I was at the company, because they were going through a listing process. And
it was an opportunity for you to learn more.
Yeah, I just saw things that other people won't have a chance in their lifetime to see, because few people get to. I mean, people can be in a company that's going through a listing process, but you don't get to see the inner
process,
workings.
the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So that was very interesting. And of course, I say it's a free MBA because there's a lot of other things as well, right? How do you manage egos? How do you manage people up there and down there? Meaning people above you and below you. I'm not saying as a human being. I'm saying as in terms of the organization and all that. And people sideways. So up, down, and sideways, right? How do you deal with people are just there to earn an income and not do more than what they can? How do you deal with people in their 60s, and how do you deal with fresh grads and interns? So that's why I call it a free MBA, because you get to learn stuff in MBA, but this time you actually practice it.
Okay, so I suppose the rest is history, right? It's like you guys after that, then FIRL came out, and then
we started FIRL because we were finding it hard to repeat ourselves, explaining any financial concepts or investing concepts. So that's when we thought, hey, why not just put ourselves on YouTube, right? And at that point in time also, because my previous company was also going through some sort of digitization phase where they needed to do online content. So I was doing a lot of research on online content creation to help the company. Unfortunately, a lot of my ideas were not taken seriously fully. John's ideas as well. So that's when we thought, hey, why not do our own thing? And actually, everything that we have built in FIRL today was what we wanted to do for our previous company. But they obviously saw things differently. So we thought, hey, why not just do it ourselves?
Nice, nice, nice. I have fun talking with you again, MJ.
Yep.
I think that's it for today's video. But I'm sure that there will be lots more in the future.
Looking forward.
And as usual, I just want to ask a question, and then you're just gonna pick one of these
Okay.
options. All right. This is very random though. It's
Yeah.
nothing to related about your jobs and whatsoever.
Okay.
First person shooter game or MMORPG.
MMO.
MMO.
Because
Okay.
I have bad reactions. So.
Oh yeah, okay, good. So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, make sure you leave a like and make sure you comment down below on what should we ask next. And with that said, we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.